Let's move to 3.13, Chancellor's reports. Dr. Walter.
Thank you very much. I am looking at my screen because we may have a bit of we do not. Okay, great. So we're going to start and go in our usual order, and we'll have Dr. Angélica Garcia give her report for Berkeley City College. Thank you. Dr. Garcia.
Great, thank you. Good evening, members of the Board of Trustees, Interim Chancellor Walter, incoming Interim Chancellor Dr. Jackson, fellow colleagues and community members. I'd like to provide a few remarks to augment the written BCC submitted report. Earlier this evening, ASBCC President Liam Zhu provided some updates related to what's going on around campus for students at BCC. One item that I'd like to highlight is that for the next 3 Fridays, on the 14th, 21st, and the 28th, from 1:30 to 2 p.m., student ambassadors will be hosting a campus solutions workshop. I'm so proud of their leadership and for the ways in which they provide highly engaging and hands-on workshops for students. They are providing these sessions so that as we continue our technology platform transition, students are getting real-time support, and for their leadership, and that I'm incredibly grateful. I also want to take a moment to just thank our general student workforce. You know, we've spent a lot of time acknowledging and thanking faculty and classified professionals and the ways in which many of us who work for this district and the college have done our part to convert to an online environment. And student employees are a part of that. Their work and their leadership to support us as we transition to an online environment really helped us address the academic, socio-emotional, recreational, and technology support of their peers. So I just wanted to take a moment to acknowledge all of the student employees at Berkeley City College and throughout the district. As an accreditation update, Berkeley City College last week, along with my sister colleges, we received a letter from our site team chair. So for Berkeley City College, Dr. Curry submitted to me as the president a confidential draft report of the site visit. Currently in consultation with the executive cabinet, we're in the midst of reviewing the report for matters of errors of fact. Berkeley City College will be submitting that communication by tomorrow, meeting the deadline. And just as a reminder to all of us here that the final report and the commission's decision on the college's accreditation status will be communicated after their June meeting. In many of the discussions that I've had with various constituency groups, everyone's really anxious to learn what exactly is entailed in the report, and per the accreditation process, that final report will be released after June. As shared earlier by the classified Senate report, I wanted to augment the work that we're doing for data-informed decision-making. BCC has administered a set of comprehensive surveys to students, faculty, and classified professionals so that we can learn of their experiences and the impact that COVID-19 and converting onto the online format has impacted on them now a year later. The surveys were developed and provided with input from different constituency leadership groups members. And so the student survey is out. The classified professional survey should be coming out later this week, as well as that of the faculty. Ideally, the findings of the surveys will provide both insight and direction to address the ongoing needs of our college community, and also help to inform our use of future higher education emergency relief funds, known as HERF. Also to inform our return to campus operational plans and ongoing technology needs. So we're very excited for this comprehensive survey. And I did share with the community about a month ago that we were going to have a lot of surveys, but really to get as much data as we could to inform our decisions. Also want to take a moment to recognize a leader among her peers. Andrea Williams is the director of the Career Transfer Center at BCC. And at the Transfer Director Summit, she provided a workshop titled Implicit Bias in Transfer Support and Developing Equitable Practices for Disproportionately Impacted Students. We're proud of the work and support that BCC does to support students for transfer, and Andrea is an example of how our network across the statewide system tries to bring out the very best of what we're seeing across our colleges. Our efforts and practices are also going to be highlighted in next week's Black Student Success Week during the ATD Journey for African American Students. And really, we have this opportunity to be seen as a thought leader around issues of transfer. And I recently had the opportunity to attend 2 key stakeholder sessions for AB 928, sponsored by Senator Berman. And really, the broad discussion is how do we continue to provide seamless transfer pathways from the community colleges to both the CSU and UC systems. And I would like to take a moment to just take a personal point of privilege to really address COVID-19. Currently in the state of California, we have over 3.6 million cases. We have just over 59,000 deaths, and really the virus is killing our communities. And I'd like to humbly ask that we hold that context, that students, colleagues, and the community are deeply impacted by coronavirus. I had the unfortunate misgiving that we've now had a 3rd family member in my family who has died due to the virus, and really continues to serve as a reminder how Black and Brown communities are often the ones that are suffering because of previous systems, because of the healthcare system and the way that low-income communities are not often well-resourced. And so I share that because I'm proud to work at both a college and a district that recognizes this reality when we work with students and with one another. And as we continue to prepare for our return to campus, it's not lost on me that people are concerned and afraid. And I really look forward to continuing our work across the district to ensure the health and safety of our colleagues when they return. And just in closing, I'd like to take a moment to thank Dr. Walter for her leadership and service as interim chancellor. It certainly has been an eventful several months, and it has been a pleasure to work with you. And I'm also eagerly excited to work with Dr. Jackson. So Dr. Jackson, welcome back, and look forward to supporting you in your leadership as we all serve our students. And that concludes my report for tonight.
Thank you, Dr. Garcia, and I particularly appreciate your comments relative to the disparate impact that COVID-19 is having on communities of color and impoverished areas right around our house, if you will. So thank you. Okay, our next speaker for our president's reports will be Dr. Nathaniel Jones from the College of Alameda.
Okay, good evening, President Reese, trustees, Chancellors Walters and Jackson, as well as colleagues and guests. I'm pleased to report a few points of pride, work we have been doing in support of our diverse student body, and our efforts related to enhancing institutional effectiveness. At the College of Alameda, we are deeply committed to academic excellence, student empowerment, and student support and success. Hence, I'm delighted to share that Dr. Khalila Beal Arabe, mathematics instructor and math department co-chair, has been selected as a 2021 mathematically gifted and Black honoree. Each year, the Network of Minorities in Mathematical Sciences chooses 28 Black mathematicians to spotlight during Black History Month for their contribution to the field. This year, Dr. Beal Arabe was among those who were selected for this honor. We congratulate and thank her for her commitment to academic excellence and positively representing the College of Alameda. COA has recently been accepted into the California Virtual Campus Consortium. The consortium is a group of 65 California community colleges that work together to address online achievement gaps and increase student access to fully resourced online courses. The consortium will provide COA assistance as well as a wide range of resources and services aimed at delivering high quality online instruction to the benefit of our wonderfully diverse students. last week, as my colleague, Dr. Garcia indicated, we too received a draft copy of our accreditation report to review for errors of fact. We have reviewed the document and provided our chair with our responses. The draft that we received aligns with the verbal report that was made at the conclusion of the site visit. The team reflected on our the quality of our ICER, as well as pointed out the accommodation that we would receive, citing our collegial and collaborative manner that we cultivate and the inclusive environment of empowerment in terms of diversity for our students, in terms of commitment and moving our mission forward. Also, I would like to share that through intentional action and program, we support student success, health, and well-being. We are virtually screening movies for mental health. Amid pandemic, these movie screenings and online workshops have been designed to give our students an opportunity to decompress, watch movie, and discuss 3 award-winning short films that explore the topic of mental health and to learn about COA's robust array of free wellness resources available to them. Further, COA has distributed over $600,000 in direct aid to students from our first round of CARES Act funding. Additionally, we are in the process of planning for how we would allocate the additional HERF funding that we receive as part of round 2. Further, the college has worked in collaboration with the Peralta College Foundation to raise funds as well as to provide scholarships to our students. Lastly, COA continues to work to enhance institutional effectiveness and address strategic priorities. While COA enrollment has declined in recent years, as has been reported previously, its decline during the pandemic was significant, and just like with other community colleges within the state. Early and intentional action taken by COA seems to have lessened the decline somewhat. Our projected spring 2021 enrollment is likely to produce 87% of FTS target as compared to 83% of target reached last year. COA has seen an overall increase in course success and completion rates among most students, albeit not all students. These achievement gaps are outcomes that we are actively seeking to address. Further, COA is reviewing the recent studies and data analysis completed by district consultants Jim Black and Deborah Luckman, who we heard from this evening, to determine the most promising and improvements that we can make to existing processes, as well as new initiatives that would allow us to stem the decline in enrollments and better support our students to be successful and to achieve their educational goals. The college continues to prioritize instructional quality and outcomes by allocating resources to these efforts. For 1920, the college spent about $1.47 million from parcel tax revenues, which amounts to 87% being allocated towards instruction, offering 149 sections. 17% was support of non-instructional functions like library services. Our work relates to enrollment management, reflects our deep commitment to academic excellence, student equity and achievement, as well as sound fiscal stewardship. This ends my report for this evening, and I would also like to thank and appreciate Dr. Walter for all of her work and leadership. And she's especially dear to me for recommending that I get appointed as College of Alameda's president. So thank you, Dr. Walter.
Thank you, Dr. Jones. It's been a pleasure working with you as well, as with everyone. All right, our next report comes from Dr. Rudy Besikof, president of Laney College.
Good evening, Chancellor Walter, incoming Chancellor Jackson, members of the board, colleagues in education, and community members. I'm actually pleased to share a bit of breaking news with the board tonight that is not in your report, and want to extend my thanks to our acting dean of CTE, Ali Tomas, for alerting me to this, as I have the opportunity now to spotlight 3 great Laney workforce and industry partners for their recent support of our students. First, through the Silicon Valley Leadership Group and the leadership of Mr. David Palter, 5 scholarships of at least $4,500 will be offered to students majoring in the field of architecture. The work is being done right now to broadcast this opportunity to our students in architecture, and I would like to extend my sincere appreciation to Mr. Palter and to SVLG. Also, as the president of Laney, I would like to thank Excel Construction, another of our partners, as they are doing their part to support our students through job application opportunities they are providing to our construction management students. Also, I'd like to recognize Len Turner and Latanya Hopkins of Turner Group Construction, who are collaborating with our faculty as well in construction management. Laney is so fortunate to have such great industry partners. Also, in the spirit of partnership, I'd like to thank the leadership at the Oakland Chinatown Chamber of Commerce for inviting me to join other civic and community leaders at the March 26th Stop Asian Hate rally to speak. Details of the rally, including a link to a story that PBS NewsHour ran, can be found in my report. But I'd like to shift my focus instead tonight to the efforts of Laney Disabled Students Programs and Services, or DSPS counselor, Jessica Aoyun, who helped establish Compassion in Oakland, which is a grassroots effort that recruited hundreds of volunteers to serve as neighborhood guardians to help seniors walk safely through their own neighborhoods. This is yet one more example of a shining star at Laney College. And one more shining star that I'd like to share is Professor Michael Moya. And as I share this, I specifically think of my senior year in high school and really having to empty my wallet to get my senior photo taken. Professor Moya is in the photography department, and he worked with student interns to photograph for free 104 students, high school seniors at Madison Park Academy. This was a great work experience for the student interns who were involved to do something meaningful. Or as Professor Moya put it, it was something that serves as, and I quote, the validation of each student's last year of high school. Keeping the spotlight on, I have to say that the student journalists at the Peralta Citizen continue to earn recognition, as you will see in tonight's Laney board report. 5 students, Ryan Barba, James Millett, Lucrin Piper, Pamela Rudd, and David Rowe, were honored by the Journalism Association of Community Colleges. But what is not in your report tonight is that Pamela and David were also named as regional finalists for the Society of Professional Journalists Mark of Excellence Awards. With this recognition also comes congratulations to our Professor of Journalism, Elena Gastas. In closing my report tonight, I would like to welcome Dr. Jackson, and I would also like to thank Dr. Carla Walter for her leadership as our Chancellor. This is someone that I've really come to know as a person who truly cares about students and the people who work in Peralta. I wish her the very best and will always appreciate the opportunity that I have had to work for this great educational leader. This concludes my report.
Thank you, Dr. Besikof. It's been great working with you as well. Thank you so much. And then last, but of course, never least,
Thank you.
Dr. Johnson, Dr. David Johnson.
Good evening, Madam President, Board, Chancellor, colleagues, and community members. I'm here to share some good news. First, I'm pleased to report that Merritt College has been notified by the U.S. Department of Education, Minority Serving and Under-Resourced Schools Division, that we have implemented their recommendations outlined in the virtual Title IV Technical Assistance Report that was submitted back in October of 2020. They also took time to commend the leadership of our Vice President of Student Services, Lilia Chavez, and our Director of Financial Aid, Mr. Ernesto Neri, for bringing the college into compliance in less than 6 months. In fact, the Department of Education specifically congratulated Merritt for our, and I quote, excellent work, great leadership, and commitment to ensuring the implementation and administration of federal regulations and Title IV funds to maintain compliance. Now, we understand, of course, that there's still work to be done in collaboration with the district office, and we understand that meeting all financial aid eligibility requirements is imperative. But we are extremely proud of the progress that we have made so far in such a short period of time. Next, over the past several weeks, Merritt College has partnered with Aerotech, which is a staffing and recruiting company, to put on a series of successful career fairs in various fields. That effort's been led by our career education counselor, Ms. Sarah Alturk. And the most recent health fair gave an opportunity to 40 of our students to have one-on-one 15 to 20-minute sessions to discuss job openings, to receive feedback on their resumes, and to network with potential employers such as Kaiser, Sutter Health, and Highland Hospital. So I want everyone to mark your calendars because the next fair will focus on careers in the field of child development and will take place on this Friday, the 16th. So if you're interested, please email Sarah Alturk. Next, I got to give a shout out to Beta, Theta, Lambda, which is Merritt College's chapter of Phi Theta Kappa International Honor Society. So for the uninitiated, the mission of Phi Theta Kappa is to recognize academic achievement of college students and to provide opportunities for them to grow as scholars and leaders. So at the most recent California and Nevada Regional Convention, our chapter was recognized as a 4-star chapter. Now we still have our sights on becoming a 5-star chapter, which is the pinnacle, after we complete a college-wide honors and action project, which basically requires a chapter to combine academic research, problem solving, and action-oriented service to address real-world challenges. So I want to give kudos to the chapter president, Ms. Stephanie Mutialu, for becoming the first member in the chapter's history, the first member of Beta Phi Lambda to be appointed as an officer in the Regional Alumni Association. So congratulations to Stephanie for that. And finally, I want to express my appreciation for our chapter advisor, Barbara Demopoulos, and our advisors, Mary Sidio, Doris Hankins, and Jamila Sela for their tireless efforts. Penultimately, I want to extend a warm welcome to Ms. Rashima Thornton, who today started her tenure here as Merritt College as our new Dean of Enrollment Services. So we all understand the importance of increasing the number of students that not only we bring to our college, but also keep them enrolled once they get here. So we look forward to supporting and working alongside her. And I just need to take a moment to thank you all on the board for approving her appointment. This makes a real difference here at Merritt College. And finally, like my fellow presidents, I want to take a moment to acknowledge Chancellor Walter for her work and her sacrifice, and thank her for everything that she was able to achieve here in the district. You were faced with a very daunting situation, and you comported yourself very well. And I appreciate the support that you've given me and Merritt College during your time here. So I just want to say that. And I also want to welcome back Dr. Jackson. It's very good to have you back where you belong, and looking forward to working with you in the weeks to come. So that is my report from Merritt College.
Thank you, Dr. Johnson, for that report, and I've appreciated working with you as well. And to all of you, to President Reese, Vice President UN, Board of Trustees, all of our colleagues, community friends, thank you so much for all of the commitment that you share and have shown for Peralta. And I want to be the first one to welcome Dr. Jackson into the family, back into the family. And we're glad to be able to do this in such a way that it's a true baton handoff. So that should be really, really well received. Dr. Jackson and I worked together at Chabot Las Positas. And some of you will note once she takes the reins that a lot of the things that I've done here were modeled on some of the things that I saw her do at Chabot Las Positas. So I'm really grateful that she's here to help move the district forward in the transition. What we normally do at this time with the Chancellor's reports are to, I give you an update on a few matters, and then we have questions for the President. I'm going to do that now. Just to let you know, we are working forward to put the safety plans in place. We are waiting for the two firms, Zulu and CRC, to receive their certifications. They're supposed to be available and completed by May the 1st. The applications have been submitted, and so we're just in the process of crossing our I's and dotting our T's. And so we're looking forward to that coming to fruition. I do share the sentiment that was voiced by Kimberly King around what we're seeing in the news and why this is a very important initiative. And I know the board is not backing away from that commitment. So we're doing that. And the question as to where we are with the hiring of the safety officer, the director, we are back in the pool, as they say, moving forward with that position, and you should see it coming to fruition in one form or another very soon. As you might be aware, it's a specialized position because it's asking for certain qualifications that Peralta is actually pushing the envelope on, and it's not necessarily something that's a simple. I don't mean any position to be simple, but it's nuanced. So we're moving forward with the recruiting on that. I also want to remind everyone that we are working on our COVID-19 return to work plans, and we have our Chancellor's Task Force on Decisions in Emergency Public Health combined with our Emergency Operations Center group. And we met this week to talk about different needs that we would have in terms of vaccinations and protocols for those vaccinations. We also talked about the process that we would follow in changing perhaps the way that screening is being conducted now and utilizing our students or other individuals to help us with that. And I want to mention that we are aware that Governor Newsom has perhaps put forward this notion of reopening sometime in June with a few caveats. And we're also aware of Chancellor Oakley's response to that. And I believe our district, Peralta, is very well positioned to follow its plan for reopening. However, that group is going to meet every week and make decisions about how that would move forward and bring it to the board for their consideration. So on the one hand, yes, we are, someone mentioned, when will it be done with COVID? So hopefully we'll be moving in that direction. but also we're doing it with safety, with precautions, which means that all of those policies regarding vaccinations and reopening have to be vetted through the participatory governance groups as well as the union groups. So those are underway right now. Dr. McKinley is working on that piece with his team. And then the folks in the Department of General Services are working on the facilities piece. So it is happening, and we are tasking people to have those things completed at least by the time we are reopened. And right now that is still slated to be in the fall. Our classes right now for summer are tagged for being online. And so with that, I would like to basically conclude my remarks. And again, I have appreciated my time here with Peralta. We've done amazing work together, and I've emphasized looking at what we've done and focusing on where we're going. And so I'm very, very sure that that focus is going to be the beacon as the district moves forward. So with that, I'll turn it to you, President Reese, to see if the trustees have any questions.
Thank you, Dr. Walter. Do I have any questions for the presidents or for Dr. Walter? The trustees, that is. We're good? All right, let's move on to the informational item.